This video is going to be me testing the pencils that I bought. Hey, here I am and welcome back. This is the second video of testing cheap art supplies.
Number two.
I went to Action. This video is going to be me testing the pencils that I bought. Well, that'll be the lead gun in that one. I am not a coloured pencil user, so... Is this thing on? Public announcement. Public announcement, I am not a coloured pencil user. But, as a non-coloured pencil user, I can tell you what I think. This is going to be interesting. In my previous Action video, I went through everything that I bought from Action this day. And two things I bought were these two coloured pencils. I didn't like these, and I did like these. And I made this swatch. Now, I have done some research. I have watched one YouTube video telling me what I should do with coloured pencils. I'm not going to use these pencils. I'm going to use these ones because I preferred them. So, bye! So we're going to use these ones, the Avec pencils. I am going to not use the neons. I didn't really like the neons. Thank you for your service, page. Let's move on. I want to draw something that I feel like I could draw without losing motivation. And I thought just a simple paintbrush because it's got some solid colors, has some reflections, so I could use many different colors in that. What else could I have in my composition? String. And let's go for the carbon ink as well. This is what I'm going to draw. So wish me luck, because I've never done this before. Let's get my putty rubber ready. Okay, oh, I'm actually really nervous. Oh, I don't know, I'm scared. Okay, so this is going to be this end. Oh, I'm so not used to drawing, like, realistically. Oh no, I'm already thinking, when I said, I'm going to try and draw something that I think I could possibly do, I may have overestimated my talents. Okay, so I'm going to have some reflections going up here. And then all of these reflection lines curve in here. Got some going along there, and they all curve up. Good, okay. I feel a bit happier. I haven't got to the coloured pencils yet, but I feel like this is going to be okay. Could be famous last words, obviously. I really enjoy sketching reflections. It's really interesting to just look at where the shapes are instead of trying to create a reflection. Just look, okay, there's a shape there, and there's a little, I don't know, there's a little highlight here. Oh, there's a little light there. And then suddenly you look again and you're like, oh, wow. And it looks really reflective. But if you try to create a reflection, or at least if I try to create a reflection from what I think is there, then it's actually very difficult. So when I forget about trying to create a reflection, that's when it appears. Also, what I like about this composition is I've got different textures and colors. I think here with this string, I'm going to have to do something similar to my reflection method and not draw what I think string should do, but I'm actually drawing what I see. Okay, so that is some sort of starting point. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to start light and go darker, like with watercolor, or if you start dark and can add light on top. You're supposed to be able to layer things, I suppose. I'm gonna kind of do a watercolor thing, I suppose. So I'm gonna try and find the lightest colors. Hey everyone, it's me, just popping in to say that if you are enjoying this content, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment and let me know what your experience with coloured pencils is. Now, back to the video. So after deciding that it's best to start light to dark, I've gone in with this light pale colour, and then I'm going on top with this sandy colour. So I'm going to try this technique. I saw it with a scalpel, actually. She made marks. She made marks with a scalpel, but I don't have a scalpel to hand. I'm going to use the end of my mechanical pencil just to make lines in here. We'll stop the darker colour reaching into the groove, and we'll leave you with a nice little highlight. Quite pleased with that, actually. It's not bad at all. Oh, now this is interesting. I've got the reflection of my cutting mat coming into this. So let's take the yellow. I'm just trying to do this scoring technique along here. So I'm hoping that will help me just preserve a bit of this yellow. Something I never expected. You have to push down really quite hard. So here I'm not actually focusing on trying to create a reflection. I'm just looking at the shapes that are in there. So I've got the cutting board at the bottom, which is obvious. Then I had the purple and this red and this pale colour, and I couldn't work out what it was, but I was drawing it. And then I realised it was my reflection. And then along the top we've got the darker reflection. The dark lines are the reflection from the carbon ink. Moving on down onto the handle of the paintbrush, I noticed that you could still see the reflection of the mat in there with the yellow lines. So I just lightly drew in these yellow lines until they disappeared down the handle. And then I took my mechanical pencil and I scored the grooves again so that when I colour it with the blue, that won't overpower the yellow. And a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago even, I did a art challenge with a pack of 4 mini pencils with these. And let's say this experience is much more enjoyable. Here I'm trying to pay attention to all of the different shades that I've got in the handle of the paintbrush, because it isn't all one colour. So I tried to create a highlight by using a white coloured pencil first and then going over the top, which I think was somewhat successful, but I'm not sure if I should have done it the other way around. Now I'm using a white coloured pencil to do the lighter parts of this ball of string, and then I'm later going to colour over the top with a green pencil. And again, I'm just drawing what I see and not what I think I can see. At this point, I was starting to think, oh, that actually does look like a ball of string. So I took a darker shade and added some depth and contrast. I'm actually really quite pleased with how this turned out. Now moving on to the ink bottle, I took this lighter shade. I think it was the shade that I called Pavement, I think. And I used this to colour all the parts that just looked like glass. And then I was really paying attention to the colours that I could see reflected. There's some red from those splatters of paint behind the bottle. There is purple from my shirt, and there is blue from the paintbrush. And then I went over the top with everything with black, just to kind of tie it all together. And it is black after all. I'm using a white Jelly Roll pen for the highlights because the white coloured pencil wasn't opaque enough to go over the top and to add the highlights, and this really made the whole thing pop and come to life. Okay, I think more or less, actually I'm just going to add, where's that dark green? And really emphasize the shadow under here. The final thing is to go and add this oval and carbon ink on the front of the bottle. I didn't try to copy the font that is used on the bottle, I just used my own handwriting, and as you will see, I didn't plan it very well because I almost ran out of space. So, quite an enjoyable experience. Would repeat.
Wow!
I feel like a kid at school showing my artwork. I'm actually really pleased with it. I was not expecting to be able to make something this good. I really enjoy my reflections here. Honestly, I'm quite blown away by that. Now that's got me thinking, what could I create with some premium products?
Ooh.
So to sum up, the Avec colours I'm really quite impressed with. And they were €3.99. I think they're worth it. I've got to say, some of them are a bit more creamier than others, but in general, I had a really good time. I really enjoyed that. I will be using them again. I'm really impressed. Hey everybody, I'm really impressed. Go and get yourself some Avec colours, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.